What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a Hasbro Star Wars Vintage Collection market update. We've got a few really interesting items, and I did want to do one quick channel note and say thank you to Jart Ladder 15. He is my latest Patreon supporter, so thank you so much for joining the Patreon ranks. And as always, thank you to all my Patreon supporters that allow me to make more and better videos. Let's dig in. We've got some really nice items here. This is a VC13 Darth Vader name pill with Anakin, the Revenge of the Sith card back, and you know, obviously this came with either Darth Vader or Anakin on the name pill on the front of the card. But this one was punched, but it still sold for a pretty hefty amount. It sold for $115 plus $10 shipping, and you know, it looked to be in pretty mint condition, other than the fact it was punched. So pretty good value, I think, for that, given that unpunched these can go for about what, 3 or 4 times that number. So pretty nice item. Here was one that I didn't see get listed. I probably would have, honestly, I probably would have bid on this one. It did have a little bit of edge wear at the very bottom, so it might have stopped me from bidding on it. But this is VC17 General Grievous on the foil, you know, Ultimate Galactic Hunt card back. This is one that I'd like to add in my collection fairly soon. But yeah, I think it had a little bit of damage here and there, just a little bit of edge wear and dents and things like that. So I probably would have held off. But I think for what it was, that price was pretty good. It sold for $134 on 35 bids, $10 shipping. It just sold yesterday. And, you know, I think that in really super mint condition, this can hit $200 plus all day long. So that was a pretty fair number, I think, given that it's probably like, you know, 85, low 85 grade. But man, what an awesome one. That's one that's on my target list for next year for sure. Here was a really nice one. This one was an unpunched Revenge of the Jedi VC26, the Rebel Commando, the black skin, and it looked pretty immaculate overall. I didn't really see much wrong with it at all. And that had like some very light wear in that upper corner here and on the side here, but that's really it. It was pretty great shape. That one sold for $76 with $10 shipping on 48 bids. So that's a pretty good number, I think, for a nice unpunched Revenge Rebel Commando. Now, there were a bunch of Jango Fetts that sold here recently, and I would argue that Jango Fett is on the way down in terms of price point. It just seems like he's trending down, and I don't know if it's because the market is, you know, predicting that Jango Fett's going to be the next reissue or what, but it just seems like, you know, he was consistently, even a few months ago, selling for 200 plus, 225. Even I think I even saw a few at 250, and he's been selling nowhere close to that number here lately. Now, you know, you can argue how mint some of these are. This one's got a little bit of edge wear and things like that, and that was listed at 160, best offer accepted, and then it goes down from there. This one was in pretty decent shape, just some very light scuffing here and there. That was unpunched also. That one sold for $132.50 plus shipping on 2 bids. So I mean, just no action at all, given that, you know, that's probably an 85 grade all day long. It just had some scuffs and things like that on it. And then this one was also in pretty darn good shape. That one sold for even less. That one sold for $124 plus $10 shipping. So, you know, it seems like 125 to 130 now is the going rate for a, you know, maybe not perfect, but pretty close. You know, it's got some very light edge wear here and there. This one had a little ding in the bottom corner, as you can see on the right hand side there, had a ding. So, you know, those I admit that all 3 of those had issues, very slight issues, which held the price down maybe a little bit, but that's a significant drop versus where Jango Fett has been selling. I mean, that's a huge drop, and I don't know what the cause is. I don't know if it's just because people are, like I said, predicting that he might be the next reissue next year, or is it just people are kind of tired of Jango Fett? I don't know. But this one is VC44 Luke Skywalker Dagobah. This is one that I really thought about bidding hard on, because this one again had that light blue saber variant. I've got the dark blue, but I don't have the light blue, and it looked pretty good. It just, you know, again, had one little tiny minor crease. Let's see if we can pull that up. Right in the upper corner here, you can see it right above the punch. It just had a very minor crease, but I honestly, if I'm being truly honest, that was not enough for me to not bid on it. The reason I didn't bid on it is because I forgot. So I probably would have bid on this one. A pretty good price. $130 plus $10 shipping, $140 overall. That's right in line with where they've been selling here recently. But I think that was a very good pickup. Whoever got that one. Here's another one that I thought was on the lower end. Ayla Secura, we've been seeing her regularly sell at $140 plus, and this one was in pretty good shape too. Probably like an 85 plus condition, just a slight wave to the card. But unpunched, beautiful VC58. That one sold for $102 plus $10 shipping. So let's call that what, $112 or so, $113. That's a good solid 15 or 20% discount where she's been selling. So I thought that was a pretty good price too. Here's one on the way up. We hadn't talked about this one recently, but Jocasta Nu, even with packaging that's maybe not super mint, this one was kind of a, Big Bad, or not Big Bad Toys, but it might have been Big Bad Toy Store. No, Brian's Toys. It was Brian's Toys exclusive, wasn't it? And he had like overstock left and right of this stuff, and it just hadn't, wasn't selling. And now it's going for pretty decent money. And apparently there was only 1977 made, which I did not know that. I didn't realize it was that limited in number. But it's got the Fan Club Germany sticker on there, so it must not have been a Brian Toys exclusive. It must have been, just a fan club exclusive of some sort. But anyway, the Jocasta Nu has been going up in price pretty heavily, and that one sold for $130 once you convert pounds to US dollars plus shipping. So that is one that, if you're into that one, I'm not particularly into Jocasta Nu. It's just kind of a boring figure to me. But for those of you that are, now's probably a good time to pick that up before it jumps any more. And then, of course, we all know about VC64, the Princess Leia in her slave outfit. We know that this one just continues to go up in value. And this one was a punched example, although in very good condition, very pristine condition based on the photos. But that one sold for $270 on 6 bids. And as several subscribers have pointed out, I think the risk of Princess Leia in her slave outfit ever being reissued is pretty much slim to none, just given, whatever you want about Disney's politics. But I think in 2021 to release a female action figure and it has slave outfit on the name pill, it's probably not something that's going to make, it's going to fly with social media and with all the, the cancel culture, so to speak. So I would imagine that this figure is probably never going to be re-released in the TVC line, but never say never, I guess. But and that might be what's driving part of the price increase. Is just continues to go up in value. And this one was obviously the retail release with the prototype Fett offer, but $270 plus $13 shipping took that one home for a punched example. Here's another one I thought that was actually a pretty good deal. This was Bastilla Sean, another one I was really looking at hard. VC69. Pretty good shape overall. It's probably an 85, maybe 85 plus. It had a very slight scratch right there next to the UPC code. And then on the front there, it had a little ding, very, very minor ding. But, that's probably an 85 plus all day long. That one sold for $135 plus another $10 shipping. That was a pretty fair price, I think. Now, I want to focus, I know we talk about Ahsoka all the time, but this one's interesting. This one's an unpunched example, graded 9.0 on the modern scale by AFA. So really nice item, and it was at auction, and it sold for $1,000 plus $45 shipping. But the reason I want to point this out is because it sat at $1,000 so it was up to $1,000 in bidding, and then Hasbro, I think that day, announced that Ahsoka was being re-released, and it didn't move after that. So I think, and if you look at the bid history on it, so it started on the 25th, and it very quickly went up to the next day was at $555, and then by the next day it was at $1,000. But that was on October 27th, so that $1,000 bid was on October 27th, and it still ran for another 4 days after that, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, actually 5 days. It ran for 5 more days in bidding, and it did not move. And I would argue that this $1,000 number, again, I'm assuming that the buyer actually paid, but I'd be curious to know if this auction had started after the Hasbro announcement that they were reissuing VC102 Ahsoka whether it would have hit $1,000. And I would argue that it probably would not have. It probably would not have hit $1,000 because the bids basically, once Hasbro announced, I think the timing is right here. I could be wrong, but I think the timing is Hasbro came out either on the 27th or the 28th announcing that Ahsoka was going to be reissued, and this auction didn't move after that. So I would argue that if this auction had started on the 28th or 29th, the final winning bid for this item would have been nowhere close to $1,000. That's just my guess. I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting to point out how it just sat at $1,000 and didn't move for 5 days after that. So I think Ahsoka, even graded examples, are not going to touch this $1,000 number anytime soon. Maybe it comes back. Who knows? We'll see. But I just thought that was fun to talk about. A few 3-packs sold. This was a really nice one. This one was a special action figure, I think the Target exclusive. The problem is this one had a scratch. It had a black magic marker through the Target logo, and several of you have pointed out that is removable. So, hopefully somebody was able to pull that off. But this was otherwise in great shape, is unpunched, had some very minor dings and things like that. But that one sold for $45 on 21 bids plus $10 shipping. I've got this one in prototype format. And anyway, it's apparently you can use letter fluid to remove that that magic marker on the front. But just want to point that one out. And here's another one that I thought was a great deal. This was a SDCC exclusive, the Jedi Destiny set with the Luke Stormtrooper, Luke X-Wing, and then the Jedi Luke. So these were just sold at SDCC. It was graded 8.5 on the modern scale with AFA. And that one was at auction, and it sold for $113 plus $15 shipping. I thought that was a great deal, a steal of a deal, really, for an 8.5 grade. And then another one this one's still been hovering kind of in the same price point. This was a really nice mint example of the Hasbro Pulse exclusive 501st Legion ARC Troopers 3-pack. And this one was a very, very clean example. It just looked pretty much immaculate. And it was at auction, and it sold for $162.50 plus $14 shipping. And that's kind of right in line with where it's been consistently selling for quite a while now. It's about $175 seems to take that home. So, that was a great deal, I thought, given the condition of this one. Just a gorgeous 3-pack. I love the bag. This is easily my favorite of all the different 3-packs that I have. And the back of that packaging is just awesome. I love it. Really cool. Okay, I wanted to talk again. I know I talk about this all the time, but I thought this was kind of a cool comparison. So this was the Antok Merrick X-Wing fighter, the Target exclusive. This is the full set sealed. It did have some damage to the box, admittedly. But if you're an opener, then this was a perfect, opportunity to get one. This one's sold at auction for $110 plus $22 shipping. So that gives you a data point for if you're an opener and you don't care about the box too much, because it had the damage there in the upper next to the Rogue One logo. It had a hole in there. But anyway, so that took that home. So that's for the whole set sealed. Now, if you just want the X-Wing, this one sold. This one was well, I'm sorry, no, we're gonna get to that in a second. I apologize. So this was another sealed X-Wing where the packaging was in better condition. That one sold for $135 plus $15 shipping. So a little bit more, but very slightly more. But then we had this one. This one was no figure included. So the Antok Merrick figure was not included, but it did include the full X-Wing and the box. So that one sold for $61 plus $18 shipping. So let's call that about $80 for just the X-Wing and box without the Antok Merrick figure. Or if you want just the Antok Merrick figure, that one sold for $85. So it's almost like scalpers or resellers, whatever you want to call them, they're almost incentivized to buy the X-Wings at Target, or if they got a bunch of pre-orders, take the Antok Merrick out, and if assuming it's clean, sell that separately, because you can get let's call it, that one sold for $85 for just the Antok Merrick. The X-Wing with the box by itself sold for $71, about $80. So $80 plus $84, so that's about $165 altogether. You can sell them separately, or you can sell them together for about $150. So it's not a significant price difference, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that separately they sell for quite a bit more, and not quite a bit more, but a little bit more. I actually did get Antok Merrick this weekend myself, so I paid about $75 shipped for mine. But we'll see how clean mine is. This one's got that little very faint scratch there below the 4 plus on the top left-hand corner of the front of the card back. So mine looked pretty mint in the photos, but you never know till you get it in hand. So we'll take a look at that whenever I get that one in. That'll be a quick video. And then finally, we got the Bad Batch Special 4-pack. These are pre-sales, obviously. And just as a reminder that these are going to be coming up for purchase again on Amazon, I believe it's Amazon, in January. So this seller has 10 of them. He's sold 6 of them so far. I'd be very, very cautious about buying any of these confirmed pre-orders because I know several people that have had their orders canceled. If, you know, for someone like this who's got 10 on pre-order, they've been canceling a lot of those orders. So me personally, I would not buy from an eBay seller that says they've got a confirmed pre-order. You're better off just waiting for Amazon to relist those for sale in January, which they apparently are going to do. That's been confirmed by Yak Faced and others. So, but that is a hot set. I've got to get a set of those. Those are just amazing. And the card backs apparently are going to be unpunched inside. So, man, I'm excited about that one. I've got to get that. Anyway, that's all I really had for this video. I just thought we'd take a look at some recent sales within the TVC 1.0 line. And, you know, for those who are new to TVC, you know, that runs from basically 2010 to 2012 versus TVC 2.0 when Hasbro started those back up in about 2018. So that's when I say TVC 1.0, that's what I'm referring to, is the original TVC line, the vintage collection line from 2010 to 2012. So thanks again for watching, and I'll be back soon.